Well, unfortunately, I did not catch this live, so I grabbed the replay of it. And of course, we are using the cheesy Overlord strategy. But here is Duo Survival Insane. Unfortunately, replays don't seem to show your icon. Oh well. Which is why I was a little slow to getting my field recovery over here. I will try to do my best to show my ally side of the field and my side of the field, because I do take a little bit of setup time each wave. So kind of business as usual, my side dies over here due to the Vulcan. And the ally is going to win by default with the Wasp. There we go. There's round one. And we kept fairly healthy throughout this entire thing. He picks Missile Strike here. I decide to go for a different power, which I take my time choosing here. I went for mass-produced Wasp. Now, the whole reason for that is just so I can have a cheaper Wasp when I need to place one down so I can get tack off of it. And we have my first double Overlord here, which I do slot up here in the corner. And I also grab a group of Wasps and put in the corner as well. Now, unfortunately, I did decide to rapid resupply mass recruitment. This was kind of born out of necessity. I needed these Wasps in order to tank the Phoenix shots so I didn't lose my Overlords. But it does mean next turn I don't have as much money, which is not the best. And my ally put down a level 2 Overlord. Now, I don't know if he grabbed the Elite or not. Or perhaps he was just offered it. He was, in fact, just offered the Overlord level 2. There we go, we have that win. Reload this back down to 1 here. He chooses to skip on this selection, and I grab Amp Core, which I go ahead and slot into my Overlord, trying to protect it so it doesn't die. And then I grab Mothership right away. Now, typically, I wouldn't grab Mothership right away. I perhaps should have grabbed Armor Enhancement instead. But the whole reason I did it this way is just so I can get the Wasp shield out early. But once again, you probably want to grab Armor Enhancement at this point instead of Mothership. So if we look at my ally over here, he is going to spawn a second level 2 Overlord, which he did in fact get as a choice. But unfortunately, it will die to these level 4 Mustang with range on them, and his other Overlord will die as well. Go ahead and crank this speed up here. I just like having the speed slider. It saves me editing, because it also means the sounds are queued up as well correctly. A little fact about editing: when I edit clips, I do have to drag the second bit of audio out of the way to ripple the timeline correctly when I do it with the video. I believe if you link them, they might do it in the same format, but I was struggling a little bit to get it to work correctly, so I never got to work properly. Skill issue. And we also lose both my Overlords. Now, this Overlord up here did level up. This one is completely dead, and I will get my item back. He chooses to skip again. I wish it did show me the selections like what we had, and I chose Speed Specialist because sometimes getting to your opponent is what kills you. So I opted to grab the plus 50 speed, and I leveled up my Overlord here, and I decided to go for crawlers because that's basically what it offered me this turn. As you can see, it didn't really offer me wasp, or I could have grabbed phoenixes, but I figured the crawlers were a better choice since I can slot them in front of my overlord to draw fire. And our ally over here has already picked up armor enhancement, field maintenance, and mothership. I went ahead and slotted the amp core onto my crawlers just to give them a bit more damage and health. We can do this to take a look at our ally over here and maybe get a bird's eye view of the whole map. Hopefully this camera angle is fine for people. I would like to have something a bit more high in the sky during the fighting so you can see the fight that's happening on both sides. He chooses to skip again. And I choose photon emission. Sometimes photon emission can really come out clutch for you. So I managed to get a level 3 overlord this turn because that's all it offered me, and I went ahead and took it. And my ally, and I'm also putting crawlers here. And I have replicant on my crawlers just so they can help me out a little bit in the early turns. And I'm replicating, or I'm taking my crawlers and I'm beaconing them away from my side. Not into like his side per se, but it is going to help him out. As you see, his overlords did almost die from missile strikes right away. And ours are doing okay over here, and our stuff is killing. It's happy. Now, see what that beacon is doing over here? It's drawing the enemies away so they don't instantly kill my tower, and it gives me a little bit of time to work with. Let's take a little look at our allies' side of the field. He has pretty much cleaned up his side of the field, and it's done. Now, we are going to have a little bit of problem here, I do believe, since, once again, I didn't grab armor. So, my overlords are kind of weak to all the fangs that are coming. Go ahead and zoom back in and speed this up here. Luckily, they do have enough health to kind of pull this out. But this one would probably die, if I remember correctly. And I think this one does die too. Yeah, this armor is just better than the mothership spawner if you only have a few overlords. So that was my mistake in picking the not picking the armor right away. It ends up costing me a few bucks here and there in order to pick up the upgrades that I really didn't need at the time. I believe it's sped up real quick. There we go. On to round 6. I choose Ion Blast, and he picks up decrease cost of overlords. Or giant units, but in this case just overlords. I still have $150 left, and I'm thinking, man, I really need to upgrade one of these things. So I do go grab the rapid resupply to upgrade this one. And I just kind of hope that this overlord lives for the round. Once again, I'm going to take my crawlers and put them over here, so I give myself a little bit more time. Our ally, on the other hand, has already gotten Overlord Artillery. He's got fully teched Overlords, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Overlords. The only difference between us is he doesn't have anything in front of his Overlords, and my side is looking a little skimpy. Oops. No, I don't want automatic, I want aerial. Good lord. scoot this battlefield over so we can see everything here. That is very noisy. I'm gonna just try not to use aerial as much as I want to use aerial. It's super loud. I will try to bring that sound volume down, and that kind of means I can't really use aerial for this. I would like to, but I just don't think I can. Alright, he chooses to skip. And for me over here, I do believe I get Smoke Bomb, which can come in pretty handy. For my unit choices, I do get chances at more Overlords, which I think I actually do slot 2 of them here, or 1 of them here. And I believe I put a group of Crawlers here to eat the missile shot. And on my ally side of the field, he has decided to recruit 2 Wasp. Or is that? Yeah, it's 2 Wasp. He is out of money, so he cannot shield them this turn. Alright, let's go ahead and bump this back up. And once again, I am doing the beacon thing. I am doing a small pull of my crawlers away from here to try to see if I can save them from the missile strike. And I do get 2 out of here, which kind of distracts them just for a tiny little bit. Take a little peek at our ally over there. His battlefield is basically cleared. And I will try to show a bit more of his side of the field in the coming turns. He grabbed Missile Device Specialist, and I grabbed the Airdrop Shield, which you do see me use a little bit throughout the game. It doesn't really help out Overlords at all, but sometimes depending on the angle of stuff, it can catch shots that would normally be intended for an Overlord off of like Fangs, for example. So I do have the chance to get 2 more Overlords here, but I have very little money to work with because I did have to take Rapid, and I took Rapid again, and I believe I'm using it to grab some upgrades. For our ally over here, he has, I believe, just upgraded a few units, and that should be his turn, basically. And he also did use 2 missiles as well. Okay, we're gonna just do aerial and be sad about the noise. His over there is doing pretty well. We can go back down here. We get a save our Overlord in the corner. And then he's chewing through the rest over here. Now, we just saw something very scary. He grabs intensive training, and I grab intensive training. The point of intensive training is not to use it right away. It's to save a unit from death. So if a durability is about to run out, you pop it on it. We do have to contest with a level 4 Fang here that has charged ammo on it, which I do believe wipes us. Or at least wipes my half of the board. I went ahead and grabbed range here. I don't remember if I did it this turn or last turn. And our ally, I believe, has upgraded some more Overlords. Yes, because this is now level 5. And he has grabbed Energy Shield. I've gone ahead and grabbed oil, sticky oil bomb. And I'm going to put the oil across this section here. So once they kill this, I have more time once they try to pass across this to kill them. Now, unfortunately, we have a very long duration of being stuck in that EMP. I do slow his units here. I get my new group of wasp out. Oh, I actually do end up killing all the EMP fangs. Alright, I punked myself. I thought I died to that. And then our ally over here is suffering a very large fang onslaught, but he does have the level 5, where is it? Here we go. Level 5 Overlord with armor on it. He should be relatively okay. Yeah, and I lost most of my Overlords just because, once again, I didn't grab armor. Armor is very important. This is probably the biggest mistake I make. Maybe the second biggest mistake I make. Alright, we have our next card selection here. I choose to skip this time, and he grabs increase the attack of all units by 30%. I figure I have enough damage with Overlords that I don't really need the 30% attack, so I'm skipping it. And I've gone ahead and leveled my Overlords that died, and I throw on high explosive ammo. This will help me clear out AoE a little bit easier, and we still have the oil from our last turn here. And then our allies side of the field, his wasp did die. However, he did, I think he grabbed another Overlord, and that's all he was able to do with his turn. He does have 250 still. And I do have these two Overlords in the corner, which I did level up as well. These are kind of for future juice if I need it. If I need an extra infusion of cash, I can sell these back. And they're also just serve as a distraction and clear some of the chaff on this tower as it approaches. So this helps cut down this area over here. Here's where I also make a little bit of mistake. I should have started the beam a little bit further back because the melting point was basically completely missed. It could have had a lot less health. So its health should have been kind of this low already. Instead, I lose 3 Overlords for it. It is entirely possible I could have killed that if I had beamed that correctly. So there we go. We cleaned up a lot of the chaff over here. It's splitting the melting points up as well. We do lose these two, but once again, like I said, they serve their purpose. Now, the problem with this wave for me, there were melting points with crawler summoning on it, so I do get wiped. Crawler summoning was just too much due to how they spawn out of the melting point. Our ally, however, dealt with his side really easy, and I did forget to show his side. That's an oopsie doodle on my part. I wish I could skip around in the rounds and go back, but you can't. His Overlords do have the chin cannon, so they outperform my Overlords in raw killing power, whereas I have to cut through big healthy units bit by bit. He can just walk up to him and punch him in with his chin. I choose to get parasitic ammo here, and my partner skips. Now, I have $450 to work with only this wave, which is basically nothing. And so I choose to upgrade twice. I believe I grabbed the rapid resupply to upgrade this Overlord as well. Yes, I did. And I want to say I sold this Overlord so I could continue upgrading. And I believe I used training to get this up. So let's take a look at his side of the field here. He has summoned more Overlords and put one on the flank. And his side of the field isn't too bad. He has some marksmen with electromagnetic shot on them, but nothing too terrible that we would suffer from this wave. We'll go ahead and increase the speed. And I figure I have enough DPS to break through their shield. I did not account for this group of fangs here distracting me for so long. So I do believe I whiff. Yeah, I only got that much of the shield, which is unfortunate. And I do have this group of crawlers here. They have Vulcans with incendiary, so his stuff keeps getting ran through. Now, since I have parasitic ammo here, we'll go ahead and slow this down a little bit so you can see what happens. So this Overlord right here has our parasitic ammo on it. And when it eventually scores a kill, these Vulcans will help us out by throwing fire down on his own stuff. If that Overlord ever gets a kill. There we go, it finally did it. So now it puts his stuff on fire. Did it really help us out? No. Let's take a look at his side here. His side is clean. Alright, round 12. I grab incendiary bomb, and he chooses to skip. So I have 1,000 to play with this round. He has 350 left. I don't know if he spent it already by the time I looked away. I have chosen to upgrade, to buy 2 more Overlords. And I believe I upgrade this one in the corner, yes. Now if we look at his side of the field here, he has a lot of Mustangs with armor piercing and range enhancement, and this one's even level 9, this one's level 5. And he also has marksmen with elite marksmen on them. He has quite a few. I have no powers available to help him. You can't even see, they go off the screen. And he has basically no power. So I'm going a bit more power heavy, even though it's tanking my eco. And I'm putting the burn here, and I'm dragging them down so they get concentrated into the fire. Unfortunately, we do lose 2 of our Overlords right away, because this level 9 fangs were standing right there. They were very mean. We'll go ahead and increase the combat speed here. And that nice fire is in fact burning all their marksmen and stuff. And it's even burning all the crawlers. Very nice on our part. Let's go take a peek at our ally. Our ally has fallen. He could not contend with these massively buffed marksmen over here. Level 9, 62,000 damage a shot. But we have a group of wasps, which he really didn't have, because his got cleared out due to those Mustangs, remember. So because of the Mustangs, his wasp died really fast, and I didn't have any on my end. So we get to clean up the wave this time. Now this is not what I meant to pick. I actually selected Nuke, but the game for some reason gave me the barrier, even though I picked Nuke, and I don't even think barrier was a choice. But it clearly said Nuke. I picked Nuke, and it gave me barrier, and I was sad. That was basically $100 just wasted. So I get another group of wasps to put in front just to have extra stuff here to tank damage. And once again, we try to do the missile thing to pull these away, but unfortunately it's not going to work out. There are Stormcrawlers with ammo, charge ammo, but does nothing. Basically, we should have no problem clearing this side. Let's take a look at our ally side of the field over here. He's choosing to upgrade his Overlord. So he has a lot of upgraded Overlords. He has level 5 Overlords pretty much across the field. And he doesn't really have any scary waves either. Nothing too intimidating on his side of the field. Group of level 8 Fangs and a level 5 Marksman. That's about it. Now, I also choose to do the oil here again, just to once again slow the people crossing over. And there you go. Very easy cleanup for us over here. And for our ally, also very easy cleanup. We choose Lightning Storm, our ally skips. Now, I really don't use this Lightning Storm at all. I kind of hold on to it till Kingdom Come, and I do end up regretting that. It's basically a 350 I wasted. Now, we have something extremely scary over here. We have a group of level 9 Fangs with 135 range and charged ammo. We're screwed on my side. And on my ally side of the field, he has Mustangs with aerial spec, range, armor piercing, and amp core. And that's on the level 4 group. He has a level 5 group, a level 4 group, and a level 7 group of these Mustangs. And I believe that is all he does for his turn. He just takes his time to level up some of these Overlords. And now he has 2 7s and a 6. And I try to make these crawlers run away down here to try to distract a little bit more. I'm trying to pull these Fangs into this oil so they don't just charge out of it and come straight over here. And then I pull a photon off as well. Now you're going to see this dance happen. That is because of the Parasite Overlord. I will say this, if I did not have the Parasite Overlord, these forts would have moved and been onto the oil, and I may have not died from this. However, the Fangs with the Electro charge right here. Can I click on one of them? It has the charged ammo. This group is supposed to have the charged ammo. I don't know why it's not showing it in the replay, but that level, there we go. Charged ammo. He cleans up his side of the field. And then he comes over here. They meet in the middle. He spawns new Wasp right as he gets into combat, which is fairly good. The chin cannons are going to work, taking out the fort. But once again, he's suffering the same exact issue I just had. Those charged ammo Fangs cutting through. If there's one item I would take away from the AI, it's charged ammo. I go ahead and grabbed heavy Overlords here, because once again, damage isn't really what we're doing with our Overlords. We're just trying to survive long enough. And I finally do grab armor enhancement. I think I did that like a turn or two ago. I don't remember. I forget. And then I spend all of my turn just upgrading. So I have level 5, level 6, level 4, level 4, level 5, level 3, and a level 2. And I did sell this Overlord down here to pay for all this. On our ally side of the field, we have a problem. The enemy, which I'm going to put a smoke down, and I do redo this a few times trying to get the maximum effect out of it. I'm not worried about this shield being here. I reordered the direction because at first I had it directing this way. Then I'm like, no, I should direct it this way. So he cracks the shield before I drop the smoke. They do have a level 9 marksman with elite, quick, and range enhancement, which will cut through these Overlords very quickly. Because he also has a group of level 9 Fangs here, and a group of level 9 aerial spec Mustangs, along with steel balls, which are fairly tanky, with mechanical division in them. And then on top of that, he has these over here, which will go over and punch him in the mouth as well. Now, this is probably the biggest mistake I made here. I placed an ion beam in this formation here, because I'm just so used to playing 2v2 that I think they're going to be units here, and this would have killed all those marksmen if there were actually units here, but since there's nothing there, yeah, that's what happens. I miss. And I think that's the biggest mistake I made in this match. Kind of felt like I threw there. So we clean up over here pretty easily. Now on his side of the field, yeah, it just gets wiped by these marksmen. They're just cutting through so quickly. Now, since we have the armor, we're reducing damage by 180 against these Wasp here. There is a group of level 7 Wasp, and they do end up killing one of my Overlords, but I believe I keep the other Overlords alive. Because like this one's level 5, so it's reducing by 300 a shot. but they're not doing too terribly much damage. And now we have quite the distance to travel here, which is great because that means I will get more wasp spawns. And because of these shields here, my wasp will stop and wait for my overlords to catch up due to these crawlers coming forward. We get the new spawn of the mothership here, and we pull forward. Slow this down here. We'll even zoom in just a little bit. Okay, that's kind of loud. We'll zoom back out. And we are losing a lot of our overlords here. Now, unfortunately, they are targeting our mothership, so we're going to lose it here. But we reduced the losses quite a bit. It's just marksman with quick reload and all these buffs on it are very hard to deal with. So no, we don't win that wave. Alright, we have the next group of powers to select from here. I choose Senior Defense Specialist because once again, I want to try to make my units live as long as possible, and he chooses the same thing. Like, I have some pretty healthy overlords here. Like, this level 6 overlord has 200k health. That's fairly decent. And our Parasite overlord, which I believe I take a loaned level, yes, which has 250,000 health. So they're quite healthy. Our side of the field is basically a gimme. We have nothing to contend with us. They have 2 groups of fangs. That's it. That's nothing. So we'll win this round very easy on our side. Our ally, however, does a bit of a surprise. He is offered level 4 melting points. So he grabs multiples of them this turn because he lost several of his overlords. So he had a ton of extra money this turn. And he throws down melting points with energy absorption and energy diffraction. This is going to allow him to survive a lot more longer on his side. Yeah, like, we don't even need to watch our side. It gets cleaned up real easy. So we'll watch over here. So his stuff up here was able to clear out quite easily. And then these melting points with their giant health pools are able to tank a fair bit of damage, but unfortunately the enemy does have, can I click on these? Very, very juiced crawlers. They have mech raid, replicate, and tunneling. So this wave just takes a while to pull through. So here's our AoE coming in pretty handy. The high explosive ammo giving us 12.5 AoE, so it's pretty nice. It does mean our killing's a lot slower, but overlords still do 20,000 damage a shot. It's nothing to sneeze at. Or per volley, I should say, not per shot. My ally chooses to skip. And I also skip. Once again, we don't have a very scary wave here at all. I have $600 to work with. I am offered level 4 balls, level 5 tanks, and level, I think, 4 phoenixes here. And I believe I go with balls, but I do make a mistake here. I did not check that the enemy had incendiary. I placed my balls on the outside of this oil, and because of that, I end up wasting my oil. I wanted this to last 2 turns, but because of my mistake I'm going to make here, and dropping these balls and putting them here, the enemy burns the oil, and that's also the 3rd biggest mistake I make in this match. Our ally, I believe, spends his turn just leveling up his overlords. We have 2 level 9 overlords. Now, this is actually a mistake. When you're getting closer to the end, you don't want to level your overlords to 9 if these overlords lose this wave. You have to somehow make them survive till wave 20. So my ally's going to win his side very easy. They have some scary marksmen there, but it shouldn't be too much of a threat. And we kill this overlord, and our side is cleaned up fairly easy. They don't have anything on our side that's spooky. We clean up our side relatively easy here. Now the enemy does have these Mustangs here, which are helping clear out these Wasp, which is a very scary situation for our ally, because if these marksmen decide to target any of these two Overlords and he loses them, once again, he will be very, very nerfed basically for any upcoming fight. But he does luck out, and these two Overlords on the right side pulled forward, and they did not target these level 9s on the left. There we go. And I did grab Electro on my Wasp as well. My ally chooses to skip, and I grab Orbital Bombardment because it can help clear out some of this chaff here. And who doesn't like that? We have $900 to spend here. I do end up making a mistake. I believe it is this turn I make the mistake. No. I want to say that's maybe next turn. There is a turn where I grab Phoenixes instead of the Crawlers. I should grab the Crawlers. I should sell the... I should either sell the balls on the left-hand side. No, I do grab the Phoenix. Okay, so this is the mistake here. I should have grabbed these level 4 Crawlers, I believe they are. Instead, I grabbed these level 3 Phoenix. These could have been Crawlers right here, taking shots from these Mustangs, for example, which aren't going to be piercing my armor, but having chaff here on the ground is extremely helpful. And I try to take these balls and I move them down here, so they have to chase me and they waste time instead of killing my tower, so I get a chance to clean up this side of the field. On my ally side of the field over here, he has some choices to make. I notice he has to fight all these arc lights over here. I'm like, dang, that's kind of brutal for you. So I decided to throw down Photon for him. Now, he should have grabbed one of those crawler groups you see, just to place it right here. Now, the reason for that is what you're about to see. Mothership takes a moment to spawn into the field. These arc lights here had already targeted his Overlords, so they do end up falling, or at least one of his Overlords did, which is not very good for our ally. And then his melting points are being just absolutely gutted by these arc lights. These are very, very powerful, very long range arc lights. And because his tower died at an awkward time here, right when he killed the enemies, he ends up not killing this one right here. Maybe he does. Okay, he does get it. He does cut through a few of them, but once again, these fangs come forward, and these arc lights are just far too strong, and they do cut through and clean him out. I have managed to maintain all of my Overlords. So we are going to be pushing through, and we're going to be helping clear out a lot of this damage. And once again, we have the AoE, so this is going to be very, very useful. And due to the parasite ammo, they're going to be clumping up constantly, and they're going to be having this acid, which is going to help out as well. And these are exploding rhinos. Now we have fairly good timing here. We have our mothership that's about to spawn another wave. We get the wave spawn just in time, and the Wasp pull ahead just in time as well. But unfortunately, this Overlord is a bit too far ahead, so it does get slapped. But I do have 165 range Overlords, so I am able to kill these. I would have had to pull all the way up to here otherwise, and they would not have been shooting the parasite ammo. So that's how we were able to pull ahead. That parasite ammo, very clutch. He takes haste module, which is not something I would pick unless he's planning to put it on this melting point. You do not want your Overlords to pull ahead of your Wasp at all, so it's very not a wise choice to do that. This wave, I make another mistake again. I use an energy shield on these Phoenix. I should just be selling these Phoenix and getting rid of them. They do me no good. So I try to put down some crawlers here to help out, but the enemy does have Phoenixes with revive, range, elite, and Electro. There's also a level 9 group of them, level 8 group, level 9 group, level 8 group, level 7, level 8, level 6. I'm hosed. I'm just gonna get beat black and blue here. On my ally side of the field, he does have a bunch of arc lights, but they don't shoot up, so it does not matter. The only thing that's really a threat on his side of the field is these Phoenix, which are point blank to him. Once again, now these will die because they'll shoot these. This one should shoot these first. You want to have something right here just to take shots for you, so you don't get in the situation where you just get instantly hit. But luckily, these don't have elite marksman, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So you can see I make a valiant attempt here, but this is a level 9 Vulcan with a ton of health. And my problem is I don't exactly deal damage very fast because I don't have the chin cannons. And we were paralyzed for a very, very long time here. And unfortunately, because our wasp died here, our overlords start getting targeted over here, and we lose them. And there's just so many of these Phoenix shooting us that by the time we clear out most of them here, we end up just losing our wasp front line, and then our overlord gets paralyzed by the electro, and then we don't get the new ones out, and then these massive damage Phoenixes just wipe us out. Not a ton we could have done there. Now luckily, our ally cleaned up his side because there was nothing that really threatened him. So we could have both gotten lucky and had mega Phoenix wave, but we didn't. So it worked out very nicely. And it's even better because he also is going to have a new mothership wave pop out as well. And look at the AI's excellent targeting on here. He's getting like new, or like 4 or 5 wasp instead of shooting like the same one. Here we go, wave 20. I will slow this down and take a look at the field so you can see kind of the gift the AI gave us. He chooses to skip, gets the extra 50. And I choose advanced control system because I know these forts are going to be a little bit bulky to cut through. I'm going to slow this down to half speed here so we can go over the field and my money. I have 850 bucks to work with. My ally has 1650. So we're going to be leveling up all of our overlords to kind of the same level. I want them around 6, 7. So we're going to spend our time leveling them up. I believe I sell these Phoenixes. I grabbed another group of crawlers because we have more crawlers as well. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to plant them and move them away so they distract a little bit. On our ally side of the field, he still has these overlords. He is very lucky to have kept these. Because once again, you do not want to level them to 9. You always want to try to keep a little bit of durability with upgrading. He does grab 2 more level 3 overlords. That's what he did with his money here. And he has these overlords down here as well. And once again, you don't want to put haste module on an overlord because your wasp are gonna slightly outpace you, but not by much because he is grabbing the +3 speed here. And he has to try to contend with crawler melting points, which were kind of the nightmare scenario for me here. So I'm taking my time to see what we want to do. I placed a smoke last round, which didn't end up doing me any good because, well, the AI can't shoot up. They don't have the AA forts here. We'll go ahead and bump this up. So once again, I take this crawler and I move it out here to distract all these so I can cut through these a little bit quicker. But the only threat they have on this side of the field is these 2 fangs, these electro snipers, and these marksmen over. Oh, they're not even electro. They're excuse me, elite marksmen. But I have my crawlers in the front here, so I don't have to worry about it because these are going to take all the hate for me while these come forward. So I'm trying to help my ally out. I throw down an ion. And I throw down a thunderstorm as well to help clear out some of these shields. We have our ion cut through just a little bit, doesn't do exactly a whole ton. And we had this bombard to try to help out, and our crawlers came over here and helped pull these away for just a little bit, and our ion then fizzled out over here. Let's take a little peek over here on our side. Once again, we have basically no threat over here. So the sniper walked into the smoke, just completely waxed. There's nothing over here that's going to hurt us. We'll take a look at our ally side of the field here. He has to worry about these melting points for some of the crawlers, but all the crawlers are currently going after me because of my parasite ammo and my crawlers on my side of the field. I think if it wasn't for these crawlers being pulled away, the crawler summoning might have overwhelmed our ally after his wasp died out. So luckily we have that parasite ammo, keep pulling and pulling and pulling these away. Because the melting points with crawler summoning is like the only thing that would really end up killing us on this wave. And we just got our new spawn of wasps coming out, and here's the marksman to come, and they can't really do too terribly much. We do get unlucky. This one does end up targeting my overlord on the side, and the overlord does end up dying. And his wasp come in from behind here, which does distract this marksman. He wouldn't have done too terribly much, but he would have done 50k damage to one of these overlords, but they're pretty chunky. Like, we have 120k more than our ally over here. And there you go. That was duo survival. Insane. Well, I hope people enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't catch this live. I was just kind of invited a bit randomly. He is on my in-game friends list, and he's like, hey, you want to do a survival? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And we did it. We beat it in one go, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and record this just to show people that Overlord cheese does in fact work. And there you have it. Hope you enjoyed.